What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop and NBA DFS conversation starts right now. It's weird, man. I'm on doing crunch time. I feel like I haven't done. Well, I've been doing crunch time all week. I haven't done GrindersLive all week because just a strange schedule with the Cup, with the NBA Cup, the Emirates Cup. We actually have a full slate of games. I think the finals, the semifinals are Saturday. San Antonio, OKC. I forget the other brackets. New York versus Orlando. There you go. That's what it is on Saturday. Wemby expected to play, by the way, but this is DFS. We care about today and today only. And today, 7 games in the association. DK left off the last game for savings. So DraftKings does not care about Minnesota Golden State. We did get big news that Ant-Man not playing basketball tonight for Minnesota. Again, that's a 10 o'clock game, the back half of the NBA TV doubleheader. I guess we're going to call that national TV, NBA TV? Sure. Why not? The worst vehicles for national TV, I would say. But yes, national TV nonetheless. The front half, in case you're curious, that's Atlanta, Detroit. The DK slate, 2/3 of it starts exactly at 7 o'clock on the bell. An hour later, you have Utah, Memphis. 30 minutes after that, the hammer on DK. It's Brooklyn and Dallas. The only thing we're really waiting for, injury-wise, this is the association, so goofy things can certainly happen. But Tyrese Maxey, he had the fish, so he's questionable. He's ill. That's a big one. That is a 7 o'clock game, so we will know. We should know by 6:30 in theory. If we don't know in this show, crunch time, we'll talk about it. I believe y'all got Beer and Noto and Roth. Myself, the tastiest of tides, Tim Buell. What's up, Tim? How are things? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Dino. Hope you got yourself some Kyle Pitts last night. I don't have any in best ball, so I'm pretty sad about that. I had a little bit in showdown, but not really enough to turn profitable. But I mean, what a game by him last night. That was pretty insane. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff by him. I think he got 7% of his career fantasy points in that one game.
I didn't see that stat, but that sounds about right.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? He got 7% of his career fantasy points.
The hundreds of thousands of hours of dedicated the research and shows on best ball strategy, all just thrown out the window. If you don't have Kyle Pitts, all right, come back next year. I played 93 teams on DK. I got 23 through, which I thought was a pretty good number. One as Kyle Pitts. So, man,
I got 10 out of 57 and zero pits.
Yeah, it's whatever. We'll come back next year and we'll forget that. It turns out best ball. They say it's a skill game. There is some skill for sure, but a lot of variance. Also, a lot of my players. I'm not sure if this happened to you too. A lot of my guys got hurt throughout the season. That happened. Yep. Did that happen to you as well?
Tucker Craft owes me a lot of dollars. A lot of dollars.
Yeah, he was pretty awesome until he got hurt. That was a great pick by you, and then it's like, oh, look what a great analyst I am. And oh, wait a second, he got hurt. He's out for the season. You were wrong. Apparently, you should have known. You should have known he was getting hurt, Tim. Why didn't you know better?
I know.
That's just how that goes sometimes, I suppose. But yeah, I was kind of excited, and now I'm not because I feel like my teams are dead on a Friday. I guess on a Thursday around 10 o'clock at night on the East Coast. Okay, this is a basketball show. It's also a Film Friday. It is Film Friday, which means we can give the first clue to the people. I believe I dropped it to Steve. Did I give it to Steve? If I didn't, my bad. I might have not shared it with him. I've been a little bit off today. I've not. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and drop the clues here. Fire it off to Steve. Film Friday, if you guys are not aware, you get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Football, baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, World Cup. We'll have World Cup stuff, I imagine. Obviously, it's not happening just yet, but in theory, no pool. I know we were talking a little pool pre-show. There's no pool DFS, right, Tim? As far to the best of my knowledge, that does not exist. I don't think so. Maybe one day.
Pool DFS.
NHL. I know you're on top of that. Just a 2-gamer tonight.
Just two gamer. Yeah, pretty boring in the NHL streets. So we had a great slate last night, but
Panthers got crushed. It wasn't so great.
Super boring.
They tend to get 15 games or 3 games, too much for my liking, but whatever. Nobody asked me about the schedule. All right, the first clue is dropped. It is scrolling. It is coupon. Let me know in the Discord channel, rotogrunners.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. I'll be the first person to tell me what film I'm talking about. One guess per clue drop. We'll drop another clue in about 10 minutes or so, give or take. And you get all the bells, all the whistles, the optimizer, the expert rankings, and access to all the sports, UFC. I didn't mention everything with the absence of NASCAR, which of course is a la carte. All right, Tim, I want an overview. I always ask that. I was on last night with Chop. Chop refuses to give me an overview. That's in his writer. He's like, I just won't give you an overview. He doesn't like giving overviews. Are you okay? I guess I should have ran this by you before you. Are you okay giving an overview as far as the slate? You can give me an overview, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a kind of a tough slate for an overview because we don't really have a ton of news that we're waiting on. It's really just Maxey, Tyrese Maxey that we're waiting for. That's the big one for Philly. That would obviously change a ton of things that we're going to be talking about. But I mean I think that was a midday downgrade for an illness. So I mean that one kind of does concern me a little bit. Obviously we cannot project him out, but I would not be surprised at all if he is out here. So that would obviously, but that is the 7:00 game. So we'll have that news, or at least crunch time will. So we'll know what to do. Projections will be set, but just keep an eye out on that. No LaMelo Ball for the Hornets. So we're getting to a ton of value here for Charlotte currently. And then a game that, I'm kind of excited to break down with you, Dean. I think that you and I might have a little bit of different angle that we'll talk about here in a little bit is that Cleveland-Washington game, because that game is super interesting. For such a small slate, there's a lot of different ways that you can attack this slate because there are some really, really strong plays. And there's different strong plays at different price points as well. Like it's not necessarily a stars and scrubs slate. Like there is a good argument to go balance today. So it's definitely a slate that I'm excited to play. I think this is a really fun slate.
Yeah, you mentioned Cleveland. Cleveland's got a total of 130 against Washington. That's a big boy total, obviously. There's a couple interesting little game stacks. I think Chicago and Charlotte, we'll talk about that one right out the gate, is kind of interesting due to some injuries. Good matchups, high total, and probably neither one of these teams likely to pull away because both these defenses are vulnerable. The player that's projected, I think it's an interesting start. Well, Jock Landale, right? Zach Edey's out for, I was going to say a month, but they're just going to reevaluate. They're going to reevaluate him in a month. So it could be longer. He's out is the main point. So we're presuming Jock Landale to draw the start right now, and that's not really factored into his price. He's a fantasy point-minute player. We're projecting around, mid-20s, 3.7 DK. You can roll out 2 centers. On FanDuel, I think it's a little bit easier to get away from him because he's 4.2, and you can only roster 1 center. And you can kind of tell a story of him not working out, or at least not being necessary. They can run Triple J at center, small ball. They can run Santi Aldama as a small ball center as well. Landale can get a couple quick fouls as well. He's not great. He's not somebody you have to go out of your way to play, but he is, no Brandon Clark, obviously. We haven't seen him all season long, so they're kind of thin as far as fives in Memphis. Do you have a quick thought on Landale? I assume if you're playing cash tonight, he's in your lineup, and it's more of a decision point about what you do in tournaments. And I wrote about in the survey today, I don't think he's a full-on just lock button, this can't miss situation. But I also think he's obviously the best point per dollar play on paper pre-flop.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% playing him in cash games on DraftKings. And I think you're 98% going to be playing him on cash games in FanDuel as well. I mean, I don't really care that you can only play one over there. He's 4,200 on FanDuel. I think that's still a fantastic play. Tournaments, you can make a different decision. But on DraftKings, we have him at 55% projected ownership, and single entry stuff I'll be pushing 70 plus, I would imagine. At least. Yeah. So I mean, I still think I'm going to be playing him though. I just, I don't see a world where I'm going to be fading Jock Landale unless the slate completely flips on its head and we get some kind of new value or something like that. But we're really not expecting that. So I mean, Jock Landale is, definitely a core piece. Notorious, who will be on the next show. I mean, he's already core tagged him. I think that's super, appropriate. Like, you're just going to be getting to him everywhere. So he's definitely like a core cash play. He would definitely be in like 3 out of 3 of a 3 max. I'd probably get to like at least 15, if not more, in a 20 max setting. Like he is definitely the top chalk value.
You say Notorious tagged him. Somebody else on this show tagged. You just ignored my tag. That's fine. That's okay. And Bobby Gomes.
Well, Noto does the core plays, so that's why I was.
I see. I got you.
Yeah,
that's fair. Okay. I should not have been nearly as offended as I was.
Listen, you're going to be offended either way, so go ahead and be offended. But that was not my intent.
Yeah. I'll tell you one way it might be different is if we lose Maxey and FanDuel, Embiid's only 7K, his projection will get bumped up. You only get one center. We currently have like our if-then. We have Embiid around 41 FanDuel points if we lose Maxey as a median projection. So that will be one way where I think Embiid, it's be 1 and 2 as far as the most popular players amongst those two. But I would, we were talking pre-show. We both like Embiid as is. And if we lose Maxey, I think Embiid's going to look pretty awesome. Well rested too. A lot of these teams are well rested. They haven't played a lot of basketball this week with the cup going on. I wonder how that.
Can I just address a question in the chat really quick? It's about Jock Landale. The question was from Javier. If Landale doesn't start, can we still play him? And I think the answer is yes, just because Memphis is down so many bodies. So I'm assuming if he doesn't start, wouldn't it be Aldama? Wouldn't he? I mean, that would be the only other.
But they're not going to start. They're not going to start Santi Aldama versus Nurkic. Like, I just don't.
Right. I'm just saying who would be the only other option would be Santi Aldama. I'm assuming. I mean, right? Like,
unless they're playing like Triple J at the 5 against the. Right. I don't think it's going to happen at some point throughout the game. Like, you're going to have Triple J, you're going to have Landale, and you're going to have Aldama, some combination of those 3 playing the 5. But I think Nurkic is a big boy on the other side. I think there's a pretty good chance. Like, I think it's like a 90% chance, 95% chance that Landale starts. So it's like a conversation that is
it's probably not worth having. But either way, even if like for some odd reason he doesn't start, I still think you can play him because we only have projected for 25 minutes. So like even if he doesn't start, like even if we bump him down a couple minutes, he's still going to project fantastic.
You know what it is? He's thinking it might be a Duop Reese situation. I think that's what's happening over there. It's too soon.
I mean, everybody's so scarred from last night. Last night was such a tough slate in the NBA. Like, everything just busted. Everything went wrong. Last night was pretty brutal in the NBA streets.
Some good guesses here in the Discord channel. Trying to guess today's Film Friday. Big Lebowski Hall Pass is a very good guess. It's not correct, but it's still a good guess. Queen Pins is actually a very good guess, but it's very much about coupons. If you've seen that movie starring Kristen Bell, it's not Clerks, but I see what you're doing. A lot of guesses coming through. We'll give the people a second clue since we're talking about it. First one was coupon. Second one is dog. Coupon and dog. Anything else would you say as far as big picture, or shall we dive in and do the old game-by-game deal?
Let's dive in.
Say it again.
Let's dive in, Dean.
All right.
Oh, Maxey's out. I figured that was going to happen.
So Embiid, we might get like 37, 38. We might get the ridiculous minutes out of Edgecombe now.
Mm-hmm.
Grimes might play a ton. Man, Paul George was already projecting well. And man, who doesn't want to play like chalk Paul George?
This is going to be a super chalky Paul George night now, which is like so weird to say or even think about. I can't.
What year
but
is it again?
He's going to project for nearly 40 fantasy points. We have an if-then for that. Wow. Yeah, we have projected for nearly 41 fantasy points at 6,100. I mean, that he's going to be popping in every optimal now. I mean, he's just going to be. Great. He's definitely going to. Yeah, he's going to be like a cash game core play now.
Yeah. He used to play for the Pacers once upon a time.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
We'll talk about it. I'm curious how many Sixers are going to hit optimizers now. Probably 3, I'm guessing. Maybe more. I don't know. But that's a big deal with Maxey sitting out. We'll give. They're probably ready for it, but let's go ahead and knock out Chicago, Charlotte. We'll talk about the Pacers and Philly probably next. If not, if we have to bump it, we'll bump it to the next.
Let's skip that. Let's do these 7 o'clock ones, and then let's go back to that one last. Let's do the 3 7 o'clocks and go back to Indiana.
Bulls, Hornets, 230.5 is the total. It's high and it's tight, right? Chicago is just a 2-point favorite here in Charlotte. As far as who's in and out in this one, Zach Collins should be good to go. He's officially probable. I would assume he's got that thumb, so he can't play. Kevin Huerter, he's got an adductor. He can't play. So a couple of their wings. Okoro is probable with his lumbar. Trey Jones also probable with his ankle. Kobe White, calf. He's probable too. LaMelo's not playing for Charlotte. That's a big deal. And also Colin Sexton is out as well. He's dealing with he's got quadriceps, so he cannot play basketball. So we got Kenneth. If you're close enough, if you know him well enough, maybe you call him KJ. KJ Simpson's going to be drawing the start here, presumably for the Hornets. He projects really well, especially well on DK. He's 4.5 on DK. I think he's like 5.2. He's fine. He's 5.2 on FanDuel. Just messing around with lineups before the show. He looked better to me on DK, but looks like a value either way. Let's go ahead and talk about though. As far as the Hornets and the Bulls, it does seem like a pretty good environment and some potentially cheap pieces. It's just a matter of now how much does this stuff get squeezed off when it comes to Philadelphia? But we'll talk about it. Hornets, Bulls, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too worried about this whole Philadelphia situation. Like, I would imagine when we, do the projections for Philly, we'll be getting to some Jared McCain. So that might limit Kenneth Simpson's ownership maybe a little bit, might take a little bit away from Kenneth Simpson. But I still think Kenneth Simpson is a fantastic points per dollar play here. $4,500, point guard only. Hasn't flashed much of a ceiling here, but I think that this is a pretty good spot here. Like you mentioned it, this game's pretty high and tight, really good, close spread. Everybody should be getting their full allotment of minutes. So I think Kenneth Simpson is obviously, a really, really strong play. Somebody that I was getting to a ton of, and now we're really going to have to see about this Philly stuff. Because
Brandon Miller?
Yeah, Brandon Miller and Colin Knippel. I mean, I think both of them, I thought I was getting to more of Knippel than Miller, but I was actually getting to more Miller. But either way, they're priced very closely. They're projected very similarly, both in terms of fantasy points and ownership. But yeah, I do like both of those wings a ton. But the thing is like now it's going to be Paul George right there, right around that same price point. Granted he's power forward and these guys are shooting guard, small forward, but still it's going to be a little harder to get to them. But I still think that they're really good for large field GPPs. Like they were borderline like 3 max viable to me before this news. Now I'm not so sure, but I think it's pretty close. I was kind of surprised to see Brandon Miller's projected ownership that high, considering he hasn't. I don't think he's gone over 42 fantasy points all season, so he hasn't really hit that much of a ceiling. So I didn't think that the field would necessarily flock to him like that. But now I would assume his ownership's going to go lower, so that kind of gives me some interest in him. I think we can have interest in Miles Bridges and Ryan Kalkbrenner as well. You can double pay down at center with Kalkbrenner and Jock Landale. I think that's okay. But outside of Simpson, I think my favorite play out of these Charlotte starting 5 is going to be Brandon Miller. But it's close. They're all pretty strong.
So the Miller thing is tricky, right? Because he came back from his shoulder injury. He's been out for a good chunk of the season. He's played like 5 or 6 games since then, and a lot of it just the shooting has been off, especially of late. And he was dealing with the shoulder. Now, do we know if the shoulder is like still bothering him and that's hurting, his ability to make shots as consistently as he would if he didn't have the shoulder? No. And projections don't capture that. Projections can't quantify that. So they don't know he's got a shoulder, right? They assume he's got 2 that are fully functioning, right? And maybe he does. And he's just like, it's a bad run. The absence of LaMelo, of course, has some more shots to go around too. But he was really bad versus Denver. He was really bad versus Toronto. Both games there versus Toronto. But in theory, more usage, more shots to go around. Chicago, if Miami didn't exist, Chicago would be the fastest paced team in all of basketball. They play really, really fast. He had a couple games of 40 to start the season, 42 against Chicago, his biggest score of the season. How about that? Just like 2 weeks ago or so, where he dropped 27 on them. He was actually pretty efficient, 10 for 19, 5 for 11 from 3. I'm not sure if you can assume that's going to happen once again, but I like Miller too. Bridges, you can certainly play. You mentioned you went with Kenneth. Kenneth.
I don't know him that well, so I had to go with Kenneth.
It's like 2 in Aesthetis. So I was going to say KJ, but it does say Kenneth Simpson on our lineups page. So I guess we can go Kenneth. We'll be formal. I like Simpson plenty also. Knipple, certainly. The Cock is really an interesting pivot away from, you were talking about, where we touched on it earlier as far as Landale. So you can go double cheap center, but I think it's an interesting pivot just in general. How he gets his fantasy points. It's a good matchup as far as scoring in the paint. That's where Cockburner lives. I don't know if he's made a 3 all season long, maybe 1 or 2, unless I missed it. And he gets rebounding guy and blocks. That's how he gets there. And I think Chicago tied with Memphis, most blocks per game to opponents. So the starting 5. I like the starting 5 for Charlotte. I like all 5 of them to various degrees. How about the Bulls? How do we feel about the Bulls? A little bit less exciting, and they're more expensive. Like Giddey's fine, but if you have like one big spend, do you want it to be Giddey? It's okay. You're getting a bit of a savings there on Kobe White. How do you feel about the Bulls?
I think Kobe White's super interesting for GPPs. At 6,900. I think he's going to be right around 10%, maybe even a little bit lower. I don't mind playing him as a one-off. Like Giddey's obviously fantastic. I just don't see paying $9,600 for him. Like I just feel like I'm going to be going somewhere else in terms of lineup construction. If I do, like, say I want to play like 1 Bull, 2 Charlotte pieces here, I think that my Bull would most likely be Kobe White. I'm not saying you can't play Giddey because obviously he can win you a GPP, but likely not for me today. I think if anything, it's going to be Kobe White. Charlotte's not as good of a matchup as they have been in years past. They're still not a horrible matchup, but they're not as juicy as they once were. So, I think Kobe White would really be it for me. I have no interest in Vucevic. I don't really have any interest in any of these value pieces. So I think it's just Kobe White for me.
So he is born and raised, Kobe White, that is, in Goldsboro, North Carolina, and he went to the University of North Carolina as well. So I imagine it's the old friends and family game working there for White as well. Anything else of note as far as Chicago and Charlotte, or shall we scoot along?
Let's scoot.
We did get an update as far as projections. Do we want to skip that Philly game? Everything is our projections are updated for Philadelphia. So
if they're up, let's do it.
Although I just realized I forgot to tell Steve the answer of today's Film Friday. So if anybody answered it correctly and I missed it, I think he's on top of it. Looks like we do not have a winner just yet. It's not Marley and me or John Wick or Bud or I, Tanya, Employee of the Month or the Grinch. Catch me if you can. Source Code? Is that a Gyllenhaal movie, Source Code? I think it is. It's not Source Code. All right. Next game up, let's talk about the Pacers. The Pacers and the Sixers. 222.5. That is the total. Philadelphia. I didn't hit refresh. They're probably a little bit less of a favorite now. I guess 4.5. Yeah, at home versus Indiana. The big news is Tyrese Maxey's out. We're projecting McCain to draw the start. McCain, Edgecombe, Paul George, Barlow, and Embiid. Let's see what our minutes are here for Philadelphia. 38 is our projection, a median projection for Edgecombe. Good Lord, 38 minutes. Last I checked, he was like second or third in the NBA in minutes. They ran him into the ground and he got hurt. How does that happen? Grimes, 35. Paul George, 32. He can only play so much. And B, 29. He can only play so much. McCain, 27. Barlow, 25. So, yeah, these guys I think they're all going to – Edgecombe's going to project really strong. McCain is a cheapie. He's going to look really good. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and click like optimize. I have some variance built in, but I'm curious what I'm going to get as far as Sixers. I didn't give the entire injury report. I probably should run that down as well. The cleanup, Philadelphia, Embiid's good to go. Again, well rested. McCain's good to go. Still no Kelly Oubre. As far as the Pacers, Quentin Jackson's questionable with a hamstring. Everything else, no Naismith, no Shepherd, no Toppin. Nothing there has changed. I'm getting 3 Sixers in my first, 4 Sixers in my second, 3 Sixers, 3 Sixers, 5 in like the 5th iteration. This is obviously DK because FanDuel would not allow 5. So yeah, the Sixers are going to be populating pretty heavily. How do you feel about Philly and Indiana?
Yeah, McCain, not as highly projected as I thought he would. It seems like Kenneth Simpson is still going to be kind of over him. But I think McCain is definitely GPP viable as a pivot off of Kenneth Simpson. So I think that's somewhat interesting. I guess, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I guess Paul George is my favorite. I still feel like that's kind of a donkey thing to do. But, I mean, he's so cheap. And, I mean, it's a good spot. So Paul George at 6,100, I think he's got to be like a core play. I think he should be a 3 out of 3 in 3 max play. I really do like VJ Edgecombe here quite a bit, 5,800. Man, this is gonna be tough though. I could just see this going so wrong with Paul George and Joel Embiid in all the optimals right now. Getting to quite a bit of Quentin Grimes as well. He's projecting really well off the bench, and we have him off the bench right now. So I do think that he's certainly viable. What do you think, Dean? Do you think you should do like max 3 here? I don't think we should be getting to 4 of these.
In what we play, you're talking about like the thing, not cash games, obviously.
Well, no, I'm not even saying the single entry stuff. I'm saying like in like a 20 max. Yeah, I'm saying like larger field, the $8 or the $20, whatever the flagship is tonight. Like, do you think you should be getting to 4 of them in a tournament like that?
I don't think I'm going to play 4. I
don't think so. I don't think so either. I think I'd cap it at 3 because there's quite a bit of I'm showing a ton of 4 Philly right now in lineup HQ, and I don't know if I necessarily like that much. I could be wrong. But I think I'd cap my Philly exposure at 3. And I'd probably, would you be playing Grimes and Edgecombe together? That's another, I know that they're going to be playing a ton of minutes. We have Grimes projected for 35, Edgecombe. I guess since they're, we have them that high, maybe you can play them both together. I'm just trying to wonder any rules here for Philly, guys that you wouldn't necessarily play together. I kind of thought Edgecombe and Grimes, but maybe that's not correct. I'm not sure.
I wonder how certain we are that McCain is starting. It's either McCain or Grimes, I assume. I think we've seen Justin Edwards start just to get the nominal start, but I wouldn't necessarily get excited about that.
There was a Philly beat that said by the looks of the practice jerseys, it may be Grimes and VJ starting tonight with McCain coming off the bench.
Okay.
We already have Grimes projected for a ton, so I don't think that's necessarily going to change much, in terms of projection.
McCain might lose a minute or two, that kind of thing. Yeah. And Grimes are projecting for already over 30, I think. 35.
35, yeah.
Once he's in.
Yeah.
Interesting. If he doesn't, I can see that getting shaved back a little bit, but maybe not. I'm not on the projection team, but yeah, he's going to play a lot. Officially, I don't really have an answer of clearly don't play this guy because there will be some crossover. I was thinking the 3 or 4 question. Maybe if I'm playing the 3 most expensive Sixers, I wouldn't add a 4th. But if I'm playing for at least a couple of the cheap ones, maybe you open the door for a 4th. But their prices are all kind of condensed, right? Because there's no 10K player. If there's a 10K player, so okay, I won't play the 10K player and 3 other guys. Their most expensive guy, and that's also part of the reason why they're populating, is Embiid at 7K, right? 7-1. So condensed rotation, good matchup, and they're relatively cheap, all in the mid-tier at most, right? So that's why it's hitting. That's why they're smashing. How many broken down players? If you get Paul George, you get Embiid, you got to build Anthony Davis. Who else what are the broken down players that we're going to throw in this lineup Who else is available? Just make the all broken down lineup. Maybe we can piece together as the slate progresses. I'm sure the chat will help us out with that, but they project well. They really do. Do you like anybody in Indiana? I don't really. I mean, if you want run backs, I guess it's. I mean, one of Pascal, Matherin, or Nembhard if you're going to force a run back. I know Jay Huff's been blocking like crazy and good for him, but I don't think it projects great here. I don't love any of them.
We're so kind of loaded on the wing here on this slate. Like I always have interest in Benedict Matherin, but I can't see a world where I'd be playing him just because small forward seems pretty strong here. So I don't think I'm going to be clicking on that. I guess in large field you can play Matherin or Pascal Siakam, but the stuff that you and I play, Dean, I don't see a world that I'd be clicking on any Indiana here. That's
kind of where I'm at too. Like I don't. Would I blow a lineup up if like I needed a 6'6" point guard? I'd probably just throw in Nembhard and move on. But I'm not targeting anybody on the Pacers. That's just kind of where I'm at. Anything else we should say as far as this? Like, can you give me the run? I guess you kind of sort of ranked them. You had Paul George first. Like,
I guess I have Paul George first. I guess in terms of like cash priority, it would be Paul George 1. I guess Joel Embiid 2, Edgecombe 3, Grimes 4, McCain 5. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is like super obvious, but like the stuff that kind of to the conversation, most popular players hitting my DK lineups that I ran. I added some variants. I locked it like at 74%. It's Paul George, it's Jock Landale, KJ Simpson, Edgecombe, and Embiid. Like that's the super obvious starting point. Those 5 guys. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Knipple, by the way, also. So like again, it's only 6 games on DK, but we might get some really super condensed ownership. So it might be a good night to get at least have like one, ownership separator. Let's talk about the Cavs.
Yeah, I was still getting to a ton of Charlotte even with this Philly news.
Yeah. It's Philly and Charlotte that are populating a ton of the stuff that I'm running. That's what I'm seeing. But we shall scoot along. I think it's interesting. I think I actually wrote about this in the survey today. If you're not playing Jock Landale, and if I'm not playing Jock Landale, I guess we'll get to it. But thinking about playing one of Aldama or Triple J in that lineup, just if you're not getting Landale, you got to figure something happened. Even if he's out there, somebody else, unless Memphis scores like 85 points. I know Ja is back, so maybe he just takes away and none of the bigs kind of get there. But that was sort of a thought process I had earlier today. Let's talk about the
I like that take up until this Philly news, and now it's like jumbled because Aldama is power forward center, and now we've got some really nice Philly value. So I was going to talk about that, but now it doesn't seem as necessarily relevant, I guess.
It's what the survey is great. It's great, and it's a good piece of content. But unfortunately, many times in the NBA, a lot of times like the takes at 2:00 can just expire. And
it was a good take. I was going to bring that up, but now it's
Cavs Wizards 245 in that 245.5 is the total. It's a big boy total. Cavs are big boy favorites. They're 15-point favorites here, despite the fact they're on the road. In Washington, still no Coulibaly, still no Kispert, still no Chris Middleton, still no Middleton. Sarr is the big one as well. So they're without 4 regular rotation pieces in Washington. That's Coulibaly, Kispert, Middleton. Alex Sarr's got a adductor. They are getting Trey Johnson back. I feel like he hasn't played in a while. I don't know how much he's going to play. We probably aren't projecting much. Cleveland, still no Jared Allen with that finger. It's his 3rd finger, in case you were curious. That's the middle finger, right? Right, 3rd finger, it says in the report. Middle, can't it just say middle finger? Unless he's got like that Antonio Alfonseca thing where he's got six fingers. It's no Max Strus and no Larry Nance, no Sam Merrill. Biggest team total on the board is Cleveland, 130. I know Donovan Mitchell was projecting as probably the best, one of the bigger, I shouldn't say best, but one of the best cash game spends on the slate. I don't think he's hitting stuff now, is he? I feel like he's probably falling back.
He's falling back a ton, but getting to it, we just updated Sims. Shout out to the projection guys, as always. Fantastic stuff. Quick update there. getting to a ton of Donovan Mitchell right now in Sims. So still simming really well. Just because, I mean, this team total is outstanding at, it's up to 130.5 right now. 15-point favorites though. So blowout risk is super, super high, but it's just, this is the best DFS matchup you can get is the matchup against the Wizards. So this is a really, really tough decision point tonight because right now Optimals want to give you a ton of that Charlotte game, obviously a ton of that Philly game, and it's kind of leaving out Cleveland now. But this is still going to be a popular spot. Like guys like Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, they're still going to be really, really popular tonight. I really like this game. Like of course I am worried about blowout concern, but this team total is so darn high. Like they could still end up crushing their price points, even in 3.5 quarters or 3 quarters. Like, yeah, maybe the ceiling is a little bit capped here, but I guess I just don't really care that much. And I love that Donovan Mitchell is shooting guard only, so it's like you can still play those really nice value point guards, and you don't have to worry about taking up that spot. So I think he just fits really well in lineup construction. And if you don't quite have the salary for him and you want like a more mid-range play, I think getting to Darius Garland is completely fun as well.
Curious to see what kind of ownership adjustment we get, because it looks like this ownership stuff is still from pre-Philly news, but we'll get that for sure. Still an hour and 20 minutes until we get tip-off, lock the first 4 games. Do we like anybody? Washington, Chimpenny was projecting pretty good earlier. He probably is not going to be as popular. Your dog just lit up, I think, when we said Chimpenny.
Yeah, my dogs just went crazy about something. So hopefully they don't bark too loud. Not really. I think that I just saw some news about Trey Johnson. I think, is he going to be on a minutes limit?
I would imagine so, because we haven't. Let's see. I've not seen. Is it on the Twitter?
I believe I just saw something about Trey Johnson on the Twitter.
Okay. I didn't see it, but
okay, yeah. Trey Johnson will have a minutes limit Friday per Coach Keefe. Okay.
We're giving him 23 minutes for what it's worth. So that might be a tick high if he's got a minutes limit. And he's 3.9. He's cheap. Can he get there in 20 minutes? Maybe.
Yeah. I guess Justin Chiapenny, I guess, is okay at 4,400. Fills out that small forward, power forward spot, which is usually a pretty good position to punt at. So I guess he's okay. But other than Chiapenny or maybe Trey Johnson, those would be the only 2 pieces of Washington I would be trying to get to.
I did see the news. This is for the Bulls. Okoro with his back limited to 20 minutes, and Trey Jones, he's got an ankle, 24-minute limit. And they're also thin. Just in general, as far as the guards, they're thin with Sumu out, and what's the other guy's name that's out? Former King. God, why can't I think of the guy's name? The guy that used to play for. Well, you know what? I'm going to check the injury report now because I'm drawing a complete blank. Kevin Huerter. I couldn't think of Kevin Huerter for some reason, but okay, Hawk. There you go. I knew he was on a different team, but let's. Anything else as far as Cleveland and Washington that's worth noting?
I think we're good.
Your favorite player in that game for Cleveland, was it Mitchell? It sounded like it was Mitchell.
It's Mitchell, followed by Garland, followed by Mobley.
Yeah. I wonder if we can give Kobe White any more minutes. They don't push him too hard. What do we give? Are we giving him like 29, 30? Just thinking about, we probably had those minutes baked in, right, for the Bulls. We're giving 24 to Jones and 20 to Okoro, so I don't know if they just plugged that in there. We have 30 going to Kobe White for what it's worth. And he might be the separator, Tim. If we're looking, he's not really hitting a lot of optimal stuff. At least I'm not seeing it. Are you seeing him hitting a lot of optimal stuff? I'm not seeing that.
Kobe White?
Yeah.
He's not hitting optimal stuff, no.
Yeah, he might be somebody that's interesting. Let's give the people a third clue, by the way. Third clue.
Getting to 14% of him in Sims, though, which is pretty nice.
I like it. That might be my separator. Maybe it's some Kobe White homecoming game back in North Carolina. Third clue is boy. Coupon, dog, and boy. All right. Coupon Dog Boy. Get in the Discord channel. Tell me what film I am talking about here on a Film Friday. A little behind on that, so we're going to have another one dropping soon. But, Coupon Dog Boy, fire away. Next game is the Hawks. The Hawks in Detroit. First half of the NBA TV doubleheader. Last of the 7 o'clock games. 232.5 is the total. Detroit is a 6-point favorite at home versus Atlanta. Man, Porzingis is still dealing with his illness. He's not playing basketball tonight. Trae Young, of course, still out with his knee. Otherwise, nothing new with Atlanta. As far as Detroit, they are fully healthy as far as players that actually matter. No offense to Wendell Moore Jr. and Tolu Smith and Isaac Jones and Chaz Lanier. All right, Pistons, Hawks, what do you got?
I thought I was going to be really, really getting to a ton of Jalen Johnson here, but given the slate and the matchup, I don't know, like he's like a terrifying fade because he could easily go for 75 plus here. I'm just kind of hoping that he doesn't. I hope that this road matchup against Detroit will be too much for him and he can kind of like come back to earth and maybe only go for like 55, and that won't really hurt you on this slate if he can be held kind of in check. I'm not saying he's necessarily a bad play. I'm not saying that you necessarily have to follow suit. I'm still getting to around 20% of him in the latest sim run, which is fine. It's just I don't know, like I'm just not quite getting there. But I guess the case is that it's a relatively close spread, and raw points could be at somewhat of a premium on this slate just because like we're kind of void of like superstars, I guess, or like pure studs. So, but I'm just kind of hoping that Asar can kind of just keep him in check, like I said, and maybe he only goes for like 50 or 55 fantasy points. Like he's projected for 55, and that's just, I don't think that's going to win you a GPP tonight.
If you tell me he's giving me 55, no more, no less, I don't think I need it. I don't need it. Would I take it? Still probably not. I don't think I would take it. I wouldn't be mad about it, but I don't think I'd take it. And like you said, as far as there's no Joker, there's no Giannis, right? There's no SGA, there's no Luka on this slate. Actually, in this game on DK, our two highest raw point projections, Jalen Johnson and Cunningham. Cunningham just barely edging out Mitchell, who we talked about earlier. But I don't hate the idea of running them at each other, but it's also probably not the most optimal way to do it. But it's a way to be different. Like you can literally just plug in Jalen Johnson and Cunningham and hit the lock button and hit optimize and just pick out your favorite of the next 10 lineups to get spit out. Probably one looks pretty good. Well, they all look pretty good, but pick your favorite. I don't hate that idea, but I'm probably going to be under on this game. I hope that's not a mistake. We're seeing 22% ownership on Johnson. I think this was revised. I'm seeing, let's see, Lineup HQ is telling me the last time we updated ownership 541 on the East Coast. So,
yep.
And again, this stuff gets churned out and, gets more accurate the more we close in on lock. This game is, Detroit's super healthy.
I don't love this game. I mean, what did you said something about Cade here? Like, I don't really like Cade here tonight going up against, I'm assuming Dyson Daniels. Like, I mean, yeah, he's totally fine. Like, yeah, he could win you the slate. I'm not getting to any in 3 max stuff. Dyson
Daniels, the great barrier thief, not stealing as much this season. I guess there's some randomness, I suppose, to steals. I am Steve in chat says, I like Duren. Yeah, I don't mind Duren either. I think he's fine. If I land on it, so be it. It's just at center, some of the better players. He's not going to get much ownership at all because we're talking about, Embiid is going to shoot up now as far as ownership. We haven't yet talked about Memphis, but Jock Landale, we kind of danced around it, is going to be pretty popular. I also think Landale is becoming like more fadeable the more like interesting pieces open up on this slate for tournaments. Obviously that's speaking about tournaments. Cash games, you're still almost definitely playing him. He's still hitting all the optimals, but I think it's an interesting route now to get away from it. But yeah, Duren and Cunningham are the only two guys I think I would consider on Detroit. And, Jalen Johnson can certainly be the highest raw scoring player on the slates. And I don't really love the Okongwu matchup, and he's really expensive on DK, especially 8-2. Like, he's really going to do a lot of things. Probably going to hit like 4 or 5 threes, which he can do. He's a big man who can step out. Anything else as far as Atlanta and Detroit?
No, that's a pretty good catch me up game.
Let's see. Checking out the Discord channel. It's not Dumb and Dumber or Willy Wonka or the Florida Project. The Dog Who Saved Christmas. I love that one. Supergirl, Any Given Sunday. Oh, that's a great movie. Because of Winn-Dixie, not that movie either. It's a dog movie. Okay, so fourth clue. Coupon, dog and boy. Fourth clue for the people. It is education. Coupon, dog, boy, education. I should add the little addendum that, no, I shouldn't say it. One's a tough clue. Well, I was looking for a tough clue at the gate because I felt the rest of them. I couldn't find like a one. It wasn't amazing. Don't overthink one. But it'll make sense when we get there. But all right. Let's talk about the next game here, Tim. We have 2 games left on DK. The first one is Utah-Memphis. It's an hour after that 7 o'clock block. The Utah Jazz taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. It is a big boy total, right? 243.5. Memphis, 125.5 team total. One of the bigger team totals on the board. They did lose Zach Edey for at least a month. He's going to be out for a bit. Significant hit to their defense. I also saw Markkanen earlier today. I guess he was that from a couple days ago where he was questionable with an illness. I guess he's fine now. I was thinking there might be some shenanigans going on. I was firing up the tankathon. It's still early in the season, but Utah and Memphis are both like neck and neck. They're like 7 and 8 in the tankathon. So ideally, these teams probably want to lose. I'm not saying they're tanking, but I'm just telling you, management's probably like, this is probably a good one to drop. These are teams we're competing with for ping pong balls down the road. Yeah, so Ja is back. That's the big story. Ja is back. We have not seen him in a while. Of course, Zach Edey out. Otherwise, for Memphis, nothing new. No Brandon Clark, no G.G. Jackson. He's down in the G League. No John Conchar. He's got a thumb. I think he's going to be out for a while. Utah, Hendricks is in the G League. Kessler, of course, out for the season. Oscar Tshiebwe, he came up with the main team just to sit on the bench and not play at all. And now he's back down with the G League. I did play Tshiebwe that night. That was a bad job by me. Tim has now got a cat if you're watching visually. Utah and Memphis. How do we feel about this contest?
Yeah, I was getting to a ton of this game before all that Philadelphia news. Like, obviously, you're going to be getting to a ton of Jock Landale, like, no matter what. Was getting to a ton of Keontae George, who I still like quite a bit here. He's an even better play on FanDuel at 7,400. Like, I think he's a really, really strong play over on that side. I still think he's good on DK as well. So I think that's a really, really solid play. Was getting to a lot of Ace Bailey. I think on really on both sites, I think he's a reasonably decent value over there, at least for GPPs. Maybe not popping in optimals currently. Was getting to some Nurkic as well. Just at 5,800, I think he's an interesting pivot at that center position. Somebody
I like him a little bit too.
Yeah. Like I think this game is super interesting for tournaments, at least on that Utah side. Memphis, you're getting to a ton of in optimal stuff. Still getting to a ton of Santi Aldama, even with this latest update. So was kind of surprised to see that because we kind of talked about your take and expert survey today that if you're not playing Jock Landale, it might be a good idea to get some exposure to Santi Aldama. I do like that take. Same thing with Jaren Jackson. I think that's okay as well. Getting to 20% Cedric Coward. So really, this is a really good game stack, I think. Usually these teams play in a lot of blowouts, and I think this game can stay close tonight. And obviously that game total is super, super high. So this game is I think really, really great to get exposure to. I think you can, there are different ways to playing Memphis than just playing Jock Landale. Like you can play, Jock Landale and maybe Cedric Coward or Jock Landale and Jaren Jackson, and then run it back with Keontae George or run it back with Ace Bailey or Yusuf Nurkic, something like that. I think you don't just have to play a one-off of Landale and call it good. Like building into this game, I think is a really smart idea. And you don't have to just do it with that one-off.
We talk about Miller and where are his ceiling games? Where's the Triple J ceiling games, right? He did that one where he put up 46 versus New Orleans, and good for him. We're talking over 20 games or so this year. His next highest, quick scroll, 37.5 DK points. Ja is back too. This is a great opponent though. Utah plays super fast. They're top 3 or 4 in pace. They're top 3 or 4 in both yielding both stocks, both steals and blocks. Which Triple J, that's gone down this year. It's been a massively disappointing season, actually, for Triple J. Rumors of him getting traded as well. He's no longer 19, Tim, so we can't give him that excuse. He's just 19 years old. That's not happening. He's 25 at this point. I think he's 25, give or take. But he does project well. And again, if you're getting away, and our ownership right now, I gave the refresh. Landale 53% now in tournaments. Aldama is at 20, and Triple J is at 9. Marketing's at 10. Bailey's at 12. Keontae's at 17. Coward at 18. Yeah.
I don't know. So say what is Lauri Markkanen? You said Lauri Markkanen's 10.
Yeah.
I guess at that ownership you could play him, but I wouldn't go too overweight him. He's probably my least favorite between George, Bailey, and Nurkic. I'd probably rank Markkanen 4th out of that group.
Yeah. So you're making 1 main lineup, 3 main lineups. How many main lineups do you have tonight?
I know I'm making 1 on FanDuel. I know I'm making 1 on each. I might play 3 max stuff on DK.
I guess what I'm asking.
I actually have time tonight because NHL's so slow.
Yeah, I know you're working on the NHL stuff. Just 2 games going down tonight. What I'm getting at is are you lock buttoning Jock Landale on all? If you're making 3 main lineups, is he in every single one of them?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to get away and just in one.
You're going to go 2 out of. You'd go 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I think so. Just because how the value is opened up in this slate. And he can put up 25 points, which is basically his projection, and that's not going to hurt me, right? That in itself. Now, if a couple other studs all of a sudden go nuts, and the way to get to those studs is Jock Landale, then I might be in trouble. But I just don't want to be fully committed to Jock Landale tonight. Although, in theory, he's a great math play. He's clearly the best math play on the board. Fantasy appointment guy, we're projecting 24 minutes or so. I think that's what it is. I think there's a little bit of room of him playing a little bit more and almost matching Nurkic. But there's also an opportunity where I think he plays 18, 19, 20 if he's just getting worked by Nurkic. And they don't necessarily you're not going out of your way to play Jock Landale if you're Memphis. He's in no way a part of their future. He's just the last big guy standing. But he should be fine.
Now, obviously, you don't have to give away your lineup or anything, but do you think that you're going to be paying down for a different center, or are you just going to go for a different kind of construction and pay up at center?
I haven't done anything yet, obviously. In my brain, I think Cockburner is useful. I do like Embiid a good bit. So those are 2 of the centers I like potentially in front of him. I'm trying to think who else that I would play. I don't think Nurkic is if I'm playing Triple J or if I'm playing Aldama, I don't mind running it back with Nurkic or just Nurkic by himself. I think he's of note, but I just want to have one lineup without him. Basically, I don't fully trust him. And by the way, I said his projection was 25. It's actually higher than that. And look, I'm not on the projection team, but I thought that was a little. I know it's a good matchup, but we're getting almost 30 DK points for 25 minutes, and he's a fantasy point per minute guy. So I don't know how they got the 30, almost 30. Because the matchup is positive. So okay, there's a bump for sure. But again, I'm not on the team. They do fabulous work. But personally, I wouldn't put him at almost a 30-point median projection. But he doesn't need that either when you consider he's 3-7. Anything else we want to talk about here as far as Memphis and Utah?
Steve is high on Cam Spencer.
Oh, well, wow.
I see him touting him in the chat. So,
well, okay. So what's happening there, I imagine, is Spencer is looking. Steve's looking at the game logs, and he's like, "Oh man,
I'm not touting Spencer."
No, Steve in chat.
Oh, right? Yeah. We have someone asking. Doctor Strange is asking if he's playable tonight.
So
I said Bobby Gomes has him tagged.
Yeah, but like, well, that's Bobby. He's been great, but John Morant wasn't playing in those games. They had 31 DK, 36 DK, 32 in the last 3 games. But again, I think Ja being back is going to be a hit to Spencer to enough where I'm not going to play him. But egg on my face if Cam Spencer gets there. If you are playing him, you play him on DK. The FanDuel price seems pretty ridiculous. But, we're projecting 23 minutes and about 20 fantasy points at a 4.7 clip, and that's not a good, dollar for dollar play. If you're running 150 lineups, by all means, I suppose. What do we give Morant as far as his minutes? Like 27, which is a tough guess. Like, he's going to be on some kind of limit. It could be 23. So maybe Spencer gets a couple more. But I'm not playing him. Long story short, I'm not playing him, Tim, and I imagine you're not playing Spencer either.
I'm not playing him.
5th clue for Film Friday. Coupon, dog, boy, education. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. The 5th clue is streak. Coupon, dog, boy, education, streak. I have bonus clues if necessary. Tell me what film I am talking about. Only in the Discord channel. RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. Be the first person to tell me what film I'm talking about. You get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Should also mention, if you're living in Missouri and for whatever reason you have not yet signed up for all your sports books, you have sports gambling now in Missouri. So be sure to check out the link in the show description. Find the best promo codes when signing up for all the sports books in Missouri. That's on the YouTube. While you're clicking that, click the like button. Hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications, hit and click all the things. Do want to shout out shot quality if you're playing NBA DFS, and I imagine you are because you're watching the show. And you're still relying on just box scores, like you're saying, oh man, Cam Spencer, look at that. You're just behind. You're going to be behind on things because shot quality, they give you the most predictive data in basketball, breaking down every shot to show you what should have gone in and not just what went in, but what should have gone in. Right now, you get yourself a 3-day trial for free. Head to the link in the show description right below, right next to the Missouri link for sports betting. Click on that after the 3 days. You get 3 days as far as a 3-day trial. It will renew monthly for $39.99. So, do not play blind. Play smarter with shot quality. I believe, I'm being told, we have a winner in the Discord channel. And just some people are really good at this game. Shout out to Blink182, who is a frequent winner at this. We'll get you juiced up with the premium.
I think I know this one.
You know it, Tim?
I think I'll type it in the chat.
Type it in the chat. Have you been playing along in your head?
No, I just read the 5 clues just now. I hadn't been paying attention the entire show.
All right. Well, that's as good as I can get, I guess. We have crunch time coming in about 10-15 minutes or so. It's going to be Noto. It's going to be Roth. It's going to be Beermakersfan. Nets, you are correct, Tim. Shout out to you. You get yours. Do you want a free week of RG Premium or you want some scores and odds access? I can juice you up. I can have Steve do it for you.
Hey, I mean, I'll take it. I'll take it.
The Nets are playing the Mavericks, 221.5. That is the total. Dallas is a 7.5 point favorite. Dallas has not played since Saturday. Like a lot of these teams have been off a lot, with the cup stuff going on. So Anthony Davis is about as well rested as he could be. Best shape of his life. Who's in, who's out? We got a midday downgrade for D'Lo. D'Angelo Russell is questionable. I don't know if that matters. He's
does that matter at this point? I'm not like you're more in the weeds than I am, but I don't think that matters now.
He's down bad. Yeah, he's the third. I mean, he's behind Nembhard and he's behind Brandon Williams. Daniel Gafford is officially doubtful with his ankle. Lively, I think he's going to be out for a while with his foot. Cooper Flag officially good to go. He's available on the injury report with his thumb. I guess he's wearing a splint. Brooklyn Ben Serif is on the G League as far as his assignment. Cam Thomas, we've not seen him for a while with his hamstring. Otherwise, nothing really new here. How do we feel about the Mavericks and the Nets? Oh, there's another. I was going to say center Anthony Davis, but he's actually power forward and power forward only. DK.
And that makes a difference. Like I had AD circled at the very beginning of the day when I was breaking down the NBA stuff. I was hoping. I mean, I was kind of surprised he was not projected better. And it's tough because Jalen Johnson is power forward only, and he's only $1,100 more, and like obviously Jalen Johnson is a way safer play. But I mean, Anthony Davis is just not going to get played on the slate, and I have a lot of interest in him for GPPs. So I might consider even playing him in one of three in a 3-max setting. I don't know if I'm quite brave enough to play him in single entry. You're obviously not playing him in cash.
I love it. The idea.
But I mean, I think if you got to one of him in a 3-max, I think even if you got to like 10% of him, you'd be double the field. I mean, he's going to be, we have projected for 5%. Like, so if you put him in 2 out of 20, something like that, 1 out of 10, I think that's really great. So I really like this matchup against Brooklyn. I really do like Anthony Davis a ton. We've got to talk about Michael Porter Jr., who just keeps continuing to smash each and every day, going for 55 plus, it seems, 55 plus in 3 straight games. He's still popping in our number one optimal on DraftKings. So despite all this value, despite the slate kind of shifting with the Maxey news, still getting a ton of MPJ here. So he's a standout play. He's a really, really tough fade, even though that price keeps climbing. The production is there. So I'm going to be playing him in single entry most likely. I don't know. I think that's really it, though, in terms of this entire game, is just those 2 players. I guess you could play Ryan Nembhard, but I don't necessarily love it.
Nembhard and Williams are going to split those point guard minutes. That's the way it's gone, and it's kind of tricky to figure out. A lot of it's sort of like flow of the game, who's hotter, like who closes amongst the 2. But you mentioned Davis at 5%, and single entries even less. I'm seeing 4% now. Like, give a refresh. We got a new batch of ownership as of 6:02 on the East Coast. He's at 4%. As far as this game in general, Porter is getting on DK 27%. I imagine it's lower on FanDuel because there's an extra game, but also because the price is a little bit more restricting. He's 9.3 on FanDuel. That's a full 1K jump. Yeah, we got him 8% over there. Nobody in this game actually is projected to be in the double digits on FanDuel. I wish PJ Washington was a little bit cheaper, but in theory, I kind of like him as well. I kind of like Claxton, but I wish he was cheaper too. So I'm probably not getting there. I don't love this game on the whole, but I do like Davis. I think Flag is fine if you think as a last man in. I'm okay with it if I land on it, but the 6 games on DK, the 7 games on FanDuel, one of my least favorite games on the board. Would you agree with that?
What are your least favorite games on the board? Overall, yes, I'd agree with that.
I mean, who's your second favorite net? Well, I guess it's
Claxton. No, I know it's nobody other than maybe a sprinkle of Claxton, but really nobody.
All right, let's see. About 10 minutes to go, give or take, and then we will yield to crunch time. We will touch on this FanDuel game as well. I guess we can tell the people. You can tell the people, Tim, what today's Film Friday. Clue number 1 was coupon. It wasn't the best clue, but like I don't want to just hand it out. You know what I mean? RG Premium. It's it's got a nice value to it. So coupon. The movie. Do you know why I'm saying coupon? And
that's the one I can't remember. I'm not catching that one.
It's one of the more popular lines in, but it's not. They don't actually say the word coupon, but they reference what company, Tim? You're off the grid. Maybe you don't get these things, but in the mail, there's a certain company, and the chat tell me too. Chat's gonna know. I think there's a certain company that sends you coupons like every other day. You get mail, right? I assume you get mail. Yes.
Yeah, we get mail here. It's unfortunate, but we do. I don't. Sometimes sometimes I don't look at it. Sometimes I just blindly throw it in the trash without looking.
Just blind. Well, you right now you should be in jury duty. You just don't even realize it.
Yeah, I just feel like gambling, so I'll just take the envelope and not even look at it and just throw it away.
Our guy Butto in the chat got the answer. Yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond. They still doing the coupon thing? I think they still are. I thought they went. Did they go bankrupt? That doesn't mean they go away, but I feel like they might have went bankrupt. Could be wrong in that. But yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond is along with Home Depot is referenced. Big Saturday plans if you have time. You might go to Bed Bath & Beyond and knock out Home Depot. That is clue number 1, coupon. The second clue was dog, and it's because Snoop Dogg's in this movie. Remember Snoop Dogg? Yeah, Snoop Dogg's in this movie, makes a cameo. Clue number 3 is boy, and if you want to be more specific, Tim, it's my boy Blue. My boy Blue. Remember Blue? Education. We're out of college. This movie revolves. I think the tagline was like all the fun, none of the education. I think that was the tagline of Old School, if I'm not mistaken. And clue 5, of course, Will Ferrell. He goes streaking, and I think he tries to go to KFC. Does he ever make it to KFC? I don't recall. I think that was his plan, right? To streak to KFC. He was hungry.
That was the plan.
There you go. The answer was Old School. So shout out to Blink 182 Rue. And why do we pick Old School? Because Tim, you know this. You're excited. It's the College Cup. The College Cup is actually being played right now. And I'm kind of bummed that I'm missing it. Furman's playing Washington. We're down. That's their version of the Final Four. Just started. So go Furman. Go Paladins. We're going to be watching that as we're making lineups. Give me a score update in chat. Somebody let me know. We're probably a couple minutes into the College Cup. But let's knock out this last game. Minnesota taking on Golden State. 228.5 is the total. Golden State, 4-point favorite. Big news here. Again, this is FanDuel only. Big news is that Ant-Man, no Anthony Edwards. He's out. And then Mike Conley. Mike Conley is also out. So they're thin on point guards as far as Golden State. Draymond Green is out for personal reasons. Al Horford's out with he's got a nerve issue, I believe. And then TJD is officially available with his knee. Good luck trying to figure out Golden State's starting lineup. We're projecting Curry, Hield, Richard, Butler, post. And we are expecting Terrence Shannon to draw the start for Minnesota. That's also another one that's kind of a tricky guess. Maybe Bones. I'm not sure. Maybe it is Shannon. Could very well be Shannon. But yeah, how do you see Minnesota Golden State? I guess Dante DiVincenzo is the best projected player now in this game. Is that correct? That's my guess. I've not fired it up just yet.
I actually think that probably Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels. They're the guys that, I mean, yeah, maybe points per dollar. Dante DiVincenzo is better, but it's pretty close between those three. Not getting to any of this game, or specifically, I was kind of seeing if I would get to much Minnesota in optimals. It doesn't seem to be the case outside of some Naz Reid, but he is simming really, really well. Naz Reid is simming the best. Getting to some Jaden McDaniels as well in sims. DiVincenzo's okay. I just think that there's better value on the slate. So he's an okay play. I prefer to people played McDaniels or Naz Reid. I really do like Naz Reid quite a bit here. I think he can really, really crush that price tag in this matchup. So he would be my favorite play for tournaments. You're not getting to any of this Minnesota stuff in cash games, but I think Naz Reid is really strong in GPP.
Being told in chat by our guy Butto that it's Keshawn George's birthday, so shout out to him. Derek wants to know, he's asking you specifically, Pascal Siakam or Evan Mobley? Who do you have a preference as far as those two?
So I think Derek plays mostly 3-max stuff. I would just stick with Mobley there. Pascal's okay, I guess okay, in super large field stuff. You want to take a flyer, but Mobley's a much stronger play.
You're not going to believe it, Tim. In the 6th minute, no score, Furman, Washington. I know you wanted to know. You're dying to know. You probably have a lot of money in the Paladins. Currently, no score early in the College Cup. So, give me your plums play. Who we locking in? Who's your favorite play you're going to be holding around as far as tournaments? Maybe a differentiator. If you want to give me somebody super chalky, feel free to do that. Whatever floats your boat.
You know who I really liked that when we talked about him the very first game of the entire slate? I still think he's at a really unique price point where he gets you off a ton of chalk. And I think he does have a really nice ceiling here. Kobe White.
That was the guy I said. That was my guy. You don't remember we were talking the homecoming narrative and all that?
Well, he didn't say he was your plum play.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I mean, there was implications. I was.
But I mean, I talked about him first. So.
Well, I mean, I just throw it to you, but yeah, that's like, I think this is gonna be my guy that I play, as my separator, and probably gonna be a lot of chalk around Kobe White. I think I'm gonna do that. And certainly you can play some KJ Simpson, you can play some Knipple, we play some Brandon Miller. I mentioned Cockbrenner. We didn't really talk a ton about Miles Bridges, but certainly all five Hornets are in play in that first game. I say first game, but four of the six games there on DK all tip off. If only lock at 7:00 on the East Coast. I was talking about soccer, by the way. The people are not over soccer. The College Cup. You guys don't have the Cup fever? It's the College Cup. You guys don't. You know about March Madness. You don't know about the College Cup? Okay, Tim, we're gonna do it. We're gonna segue to crunch time. It is Kevin Roth. We got Noto. We got beer. Crunch time right now. I'm guessing nobody else is following the College Cup. It's just me. Nobody cares. That's fair. Yeah. That's about right. Yeah, no worries. What's up, Roth? How are things? Happy Friday.
Thank you. Things are good. I think you have done my job 4 days in a row.
I have. It's weird. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like making lineups. I don't like it restricts me from making lineups, but like I don't, it's just I don't like
get that. Well, I had a lovely time. It turns out I have a family. I have 2 small children. They're great. I enjoyed them. So it was a nice little break, and I appreciate you stepping up and holding it down during NBA Cup for me.
Yeah. Did we do anything eventful, anything fun, or just like chill at home mostly?
Yeah, like things that you can do. Like we went fishing and we cooked dinner together, like just normal things that most people do. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Typically you got a weird start time. Yeah.
Yeah. Awkward time. Yeah.
Beer, Noto, how are things? We all good?
All good here, man. Kicking off the weekend, so ready to rock.
Is Josh Jacobs playing beer? I have not seen the latest on Josh Jacobs. I feel like you're in on this.
I think he plays. I kind of wish they would hold him out, but obviously a big game with Denver, so we'll see. I do think we see more Emmanuel Wilson, if anything. So Jacobs going to be a tough click.
All right. He didn't make the 6-pack this week. Is that what you're saying?
He did not. I'm a little nervous about it. And how Green Bay is favored in that game, I'm still not quite sure, but we'll see.
The little emotional hedge. I like the emotional hedge there for you, Beer.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, people are yelling at me for watching soccer and not NCAA basketball. I'm only watching it because this is my brother's team. He's at the game and he's all excited. It's the biggest game in the history of Furman Athletics, so he's excited. So yeah, it's not a bit. I'm actually going to be watching the game while I'm making lineups and watching that on the second screen experience. Go Furman. Anything else, Tim, before we step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time?
We're good.
College basketball, it's just like brick. I don't like to watch Brick City after brick. I mean, come on. It's a real nail biter. 3 minutes to go, and it's 47-38. Whatever. I poo-poo.
You got to watch this kid from BYU. That dude.
Who's that?
Legit. I forget his name, but I was watching the other night, and he's a top 3 prospect.
It's AJ Dibanasta or something like that. He's good.
Dibanasta?
Yeah,
he looks ready. He's a freshman, but I think he could play in the NBA right now. So you want some real college hoops, Dean. There you go. Watch a little BYU.
Okay. All right. I'll check out.
Or Michigan. Michigan absolutely smashing people out there right now. So
who's good on Michigan? They have a legit prospect?
All I know of, they've won, I believe, 6 in a row by 25 or more points. So absolutely crushing teams.
There you go. Myself and Tim, we're going to see ourselves out. You guys got 42 minutes nonstop NBA DFS conversation. Most of the injury stuff has been clear. You're just waiting for starting lineups that may be a little bit funky, but most likely not. Roth, it's all yours. Take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it. Ladies and gents, you know the drill. It's crunch time, and joined by 2 of the OGs, 2 of the sharpest minds in the industry. Beer in the house. What up, Beer?
Talk about OGs, Roth. That shirt is a damn OG. Is that like a salmon?
Yeah, it's the salmon
the
RotoGrinders
retro logo and everything. That's an OG right there.
Limited edition, dropped at
Yes,
one
it
of the
is.
RotoGrinders Super Bowl parties 10 years ago.
Game worn.
Scoop that bad boy up. It's
And
also like an
and
extra
it's a medium.
It's extra
For
medium.
sure, it's a
Yeah.
medium.
It is a glorious shirt.
That
Thank
thing
you
is
for
nice.
noticing, Beer.
Oh yeah.
How are you, man?
I'm doing well. I'm a big Christmas guy, so we're getting close on my favorite holiday with college bowl games. This NBA Cup's been fun. Fantasy football playoffs starting, basketball playoffs. I mean, it's just a great time of the year right now. So I'm doing great. A lot of things going on, and happy to be here with my boys on a Friday night. And the chat looks like they're on fire, so it should be a good show.
Hell yeah. I'm loving it. Good time to be a sports fan. No doubt about that. We got Noto in the house as well. Noto, what's up?
What's going on? Happy Friday. Getting closer to Christmas. And Roth, I've done the last 2 Monday shows. You haven't drank on either of them. What's going on?
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. I'm
here.
My drinking schedule's all thrown off. I'm still getting it. Just I've been inconsistent. We'll get back to a more consistent schedule here. It's the holidays, Noto. It throws us all for a loop. How you feeling about the slate?
Yeah, I feel better now that Maxey's out. I think it's a lot easier to build for cash games at least. But yeah, it should be a fun slate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's jump into it and let's pretend that one of the 3 people on this panel has not been following the news all day long, or maybe someone out there watching hasn't been following the news. Noto, you broke a little bit of it with Maxey out. What else do we need to know that maybe broke today or that we're still waiting to break?
Yeah, injury-wise, let's see. Cavs are shorthanded again. No Jared Allen, Merrill, Nance, Strus. Washington shorthanded. No Middleton or Sarr or Kispert. Indiana always shorthanded. They're without Neesmith and Shepard. Porzingis and Young are out for Atlanta. LaMelo Ball's out for Charlotte, which makes them a lot more appealing, especially with the nice matchup at home against the Bulls. I think all 5 of their starters are going to be viable. And then Anthony Edwards out in the late game, which only affects the FanDuel slate, but certainly opens some things up over there.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, let's jump into it, gentlemen. We have 39 minutes until we hit lock. We like to start with DraftKings these days. And Beer, I'm going to let you lead us off with a little DK talk at point guard.
All right, point guard. I think there's some value plays you're certainly going to look at. Noto mentioned a lot of the injuries, so Charlotte clearly a spot we can get some value here with KJ Simpson. He's only 4,500. Also mentioned Maxey, which is a big one. So Jared McCain, point guard, shooting guard eligible. He's only 4,100. So I think those are probably your best value plays that are going to grade out the best. Mid-range, I like Darius Garland at 6,400. He should get some more run tonight. So I'm really going cheap. If I'm spending, probably Cade. I like the spot for him against Atlanta. 10-8 is not cheap, but he shouldn't carry much ownership. I don't mind Josh Giddey to go with any Charlotte stuff if you can't find a way to get up to Cade. He's only 9,600. And then we have the Keontae George birthday narrative tonight. So things have been a little rough for him lately, but we know the upside is there. It's a good price. I think he can crush that number here in this spot. So cheap guys, expensive guys, few guys in the mid-range. I like the point guard position tonight.
Okay. Noto, we can go a lot of different spots. Where are you going?
Yeah, I agree with Beer in that you can save here. Obviously, you have the 2 guys that he talked about, Jared McCain at home against Indiana. We'll see if he starts. Even if he doesn't, he should have a bigger role with Maxey out. And then KJ Simpson against the Bulls. Again, LaMelo Ball's out. So take advantage of those injuries. I think they're the good chalk. Doesn't look like they're projecting for a ton of ownership. We have KJ at 27 and McCain at 13, which a little surprising to me, but I'll take those numbers all day. And then you mentioned Keontae George. Yeah, 45 plus in 7 of his last 11 games. So you're getting a high ceiling for that price point. Good matchup against Memphis. Should be one of the faster paced games on the slate. Guy like Darius Garland projects well, but I just want to see the upside before playing him in tournaments. So I'm probably going to pass on him. Giddey, I don't know if I want to play Giddey with Kobe White back. So I'm probably just looking at those 3 guys. And then maybe for large field stuff, Ryan Nembhard. I believe you've been one of his favorite fans, Roth. He's been great ever since being entered into that starting lineup. So I don't mind looking at him as kind of a pivot away from the other value plays.
That dude can play, man. He's still a good buy low.
Anytime you see a guy in the NBA that can get 10 plus assists, you know that they just have like a higher level of basketball knowledge, and he's there, and that just automatically like makes you a weapon. And by the way, talking about McCain, am I wrong in that last year before he was hurt, he was putting up 30 plus real life points some games?
He was balling for sure.
He can really, really score. So I'm excited to see if they kind of let him loose, what he can do. Let's go to shooting guard, Noto. What do we got?
Yeah, so if you want to spend up, Donovan Mitchell's there. The Wizards, by far the best matchup of any team in the NBA when it comes to fantasy production. I think they're 5th in pace and then bottom 5 in every other defensive category. So I like Donovan Mitchell, especially with some of the value that's opened up. All the Philly guys are going to be viable. So you have Quentin Grimes here is probably going to play 35 minutes. We have Edgecombe projected for 38 minutes at home against Indiana. So he's going to be pretty popular. And then with LaMelo Ball out, you have Colin Knippel, who I think is really good play too. I think those 4 kind of stand out above the rest. But, don't mind looking to Cedric Coward against the Jazz. He's very hit or miss. We only play him in large field stuff. But, anyone against the Jazz, especially in a game that's expected to be close, is interesting. And then if you're playing a bunch of Cavs, Keyshawn George, he's got the ceiling, probably not the floor that you're looking for, but at 5% ownership at 7K, I don't mind looking at him a little bit.
Yeah. Beer, your thoughts of shooting guard?
Yeah, I'll agree on that last point. I'm so worried about this being a blowout. Cleveland 15-point favorites in this game. Mitchell, I think it was 26 minutes last time these two teams played. Cavs scored a ton. I mean, he can still get there in limited time. So a little bit worried. So if I'm playing him, I definitely want some Washington to go with it. So it would be a guy like George. On a lot of the same guys as Noto here. VJ Edgecombe has leveled off a little bit, but that's a lot of minutes and a good matchup with Indiana. I think that game's very appealing. I'm not the biggest Quentin Grimes fan, just very up and down. He does project well. I would much rather play Edgecombe in that spot. Con Knippel, I'd rather spend up a little bit more on him. Kobe White is still under 7,000. Great matchup for him tonight against Charlotte. Who else do we got? I think that's about it for me. I don't mind Coward. He's kind of that, if you need a little bit cheaper than Edgecombe, you need to find that savings. Don't mind the pivot to him tonight, but pretty tight pool for me at shooting guard.
Okay, Beer, take us to small forward.
Michael Porter Jr. is probably my favorite price play on the slate. 8,300. I like this game in Dallas. I know the total isn't up there with some of the others, but I think this is a really good spot for him. He's just been carrying the load for this Brooklyn team. So he stands out. Brandon Miller's going to get a bump with no LaMelo Ball. So I like him. Value, I think there's some decent value. Champagnie from Washington. I think you can take some shots with these Washington guys, even in a blowout. They're cheaper. You're not investing as much in them. Ace Bailey is a guy continue to play, and you get the good and the bad with Ace Bailey. So that one more of a tournament play for me. And PJ Washington, I like quite a few pieces from that Dallas and Brooklyn game. But Michael Porter Jr., a guy that I really, really like a lot tonight.
Yeah. Why in the world is Champagnie projected for 30%? Beer, do you think that number is too high?
I don't think he gets quite that high. I think it's a decent price. He's had some decent games. People playing the other side are looking for those running back options. It feels a little too high for me, but I'm not the ownership projection king around. So I'm going to trust that number. I still think he's a decent value even at that number.
Yeah. Okay. Noto, your thoughts on small forward?
Yeah, I think he could get a little lower on just now that we have the Sixers news. Maybe McCain. I prefer McCain over Champagnie for sure. I think the field will probably come around a little bit on that. Love the Michael Porter call. The dude's just been awesome. 58, 61, 56 fantasy points. I think he's had at least 43 fantasy points in his last 9 full games that he's played without Cam Thomas. So love him if you can find the cap space. And for whatever reason, people just don't want to believe in it. We still have him projected at 27% ownership when he should be, 9K and 35% owned.
Yeah.
I like Brandon Miller. The usage rate's been there. He hasn't been super efficient, but he'll probably have a 30 to 33% usage rate in this one and a good matchup against the Bulls. And then outside of that, I don't love anybody, but Jalen Tyson's a guy that I've tried to be overweight on for most of the season. He's a good per minute producer. he could get a little extra run in garbage time. And yeah, he's been great best matchup on the slate too.
Okay. How about power forward?
Yeah, I like Paul George. Not a guy that has treated me well over the years, but the minutes are going up. So he's played 32 and 29 minutes the last 2 games. The per minute numbers have been pretty good. I think he's averaged 1.2 DraftKings points per minute this season. And now Maxey's out, so got to think he's going to play 30-plus minutes with increased usage in a good matchup against his former team. Like, come on, he's got to be the Paul George spot.
Yeah.
I have him tagged as a core play. Large field stuff, you can play Jalen Johnson. I mean, this guy's been awesome, 70-plus in 4 of his last 5. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him because of that high price point, but I'll continue to play him. Mobley's got that high floor in the good matchup against Washington. Aldama sees a boost with Zach Edey out. And then that's pretty much it for me. I'm not a Jaren Jackson guy, but this could be a spot where he is a little bit more efficient against the Jazz.
I literally did not believe you when you talked about Jalen Johnson's recent performance, and it's blowing my mind to see 70-plus fantasy points 4 of the last 5 games. I was unaware. I was unfamiliar with your game, sir. And I just couldn't imagine spending $10K for that dude, but here I am probably doing it. Beer, how about you?
Yeah, Johnson's been a monster. I mean, 1.61 fantasy points per minute now on the season. So we don't love the matchup. Detroit's been really good defensively, but this is a guy nobody want to spend up on. Certainly can endorse that play. This position, it has guys that I just hate playing because I never get them right. Paul George is one. Jaren Jackson Jr. is the other.
He just always sucks. Just don't play him, and then you always get it right.
Pretty much what I've kind of eliminated him, but George is so intriguing at 6,100. I think you have to play him, especially in cash games. It's just such a good price. No Maxey. So much Philadelphia is going to pop there. So I do prefer him over Jaren Jackson. I like Mobley a lot. Again, I worry about the blowout there, but such a good matchup with that Washington interior. Agree on Aldama. He's going to have to do more with Zach Edey on the shelf. So 56 is a good price on him. Pascal Siakam, everyone's going to have Philadelphia stuff. And, who do we want on the Indiana side? He's probably going to be under 10% owned. And if they have a shot in this game, it's going to have to be him. So I think he's good leverage on the high end. I think Anthony Davis is in that same camp at 9,500. If you can't get to Jalen Johnson, or you're just looking for a way to save some money. And then Lauri Markkanen at 8,000, I think is a good price on him tonight against Memphis.
Yeah. All right. We get to go to the center spot already. We got Jackson saying AD. What do we do? And I guess AD actually power forward eligible, not a name you brought up.
Yeah, I brought him up. I think him and Siakam in that kind of 9K range.
My bad. Grimes starting over McCain we're getting from Tasteful Tides.
I'm just not a Grimes guy, so I'm not going there, and I still think there's enough for McCain at that price. So hopefully it lowers his ownership. Sometimes that's the benefit of a guy not starting.
Yeah. Okay. Beer, take me to center.
Oh, Joel Embiid, kind of like Paul George, just way too cheap. And what Embiid do we get here? But I do like him at 7,100. It's really hard not to. If he's going to play 30 minutes in this spot, he's going to do really well. So he is my favorite center, begrudgingly, because he is on that same list. But I mentioned a lot of the, Aldama and Mobley are 2 of my favorites. You can slide them over here. Jock Landale should see more opportunity. I think we projected for about 25 minutes. If you wanted to go cheap on him at 3,700, or Kalkbrenner down at 42, good value there. Marvin Bagley's a guy I always love to play without Sarr. Price kind of coming up a little bit, but 4,900 I think is still a decent price on him. But Embiid, it's hard not to play in your cash games, but I get it. There's others out there like me who just hesitate with Joel Embiid. It feels like one of them nights, but such a good price.
Before I get to Noto here, I'm just looking at how many Philly guys I have. How many old Philly guys? Paul George, Embiid, McCain. Am I too heavy on them having 3 of those dudes, Beer?
The problem is I think a lot of people are going to have at least 2 Philly guys. I don't think it's too heavy. I just think it's going to be a pretty common build tonight. So, maybe Edgecombe gets kind of left out here now that Grimes is starting. So really like him. And then maybe you pick one of George or Embiid is kind of how I'm attacking it. rather than going with 3 guys. So I don't think it's the wrong way. I just think it's going to be a common way people go tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Noto, your thoughts at center on DraftKings, please.
Yeah, give me some Embiid. Look, the game log doesn't look good, but he's still averaged 1.3 fantasy points a minute this season, and that's with Maxey playing most games. So if you believe in the 30-minute projection that we have him, then you got to think he's going to exceed salary-based expectations at 7,100. Good matchup against Indy. Plus, you got to think his usage rate's going to go up without Maxey. So I'm on Embiid. I'm on Paul George. I'll probably play another 6 or 2, but it's probably going to be McCain. That way it's going to be a little bit different. I actually think McCain coming off the bench is good news. I don't think it changes his minutes that much, and I think he's going to have a higher usage rate with that second unit. And then Jock Landale. I mean, we haven't projected for 25 minutes. Good match against the Jazz. He's been fantasy point per minute guy this season. So I think those 2 are kind of the clear guys. If you want to make a pivot, Kalkbrenner's fine. Nick Claxton's shown some upside. Kind of a tougher matchup against Dallas's front court, but I think he's interesting. And then that's probably it for me. I wanted some Vukcevic earlier in the day, but I don't think you need to go there now.
Yeah. Okay. Very good, guys. We're going to kick it over to DraftKings. Before we do that, I want to make sure anybody who happens to be in the great state of Missouri is clicking the link in the show description, getting the best promo codes when you're signing up for sportsbooks in Missouri. And of course, shot quality. If you're playing NBA DFS and you're just looking at the box scores, you're already behind. Grab Shot Quality, gives you the most predictive data in basketball, breaks down every shot. Right now, you can get a 3-day trial just by heading to the link in the show description. It's free. It is a free 3-day trial. After that, it does renew monthly for $39.99. Don't play blind. Play smarter with Shot Quality. With that, we'll kick it over to FanDuel. We still have plenty of time to run through that and get some questions. Let's see. Noto, you can lead us off at point. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up for us while we work our way through it.
Yeah, so at the very top, you have Cade Cunningham and Donovan Mitchell. I think I prefer Mitchell, even though that game does have some blowout potential. He's just been so solid. He's had 50+. I think 7 of his last 11 games, 7 of his last 12 games. 9,600, I like the price point. And you never know. I mean, Washington keeps this game close, and then we're looking at, potential 60 fantasy points from Mitchell. Keontae George, who I talked about, really high ceiling, so I like him in tournaments. And then you have the Minnesota Golden State game here, and we don't have Anthony Edwards. So DiVincenzo firmly in play for me. That's pretty much it. You can play KJ Simpson at lower ownership here, but same with Jared McCain. But I don't think I like him nearly as much as I do on DraftKings.
Okay. Beer, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree on the value being a little bit better on DraftKings. I mean, Simpson not bad at 5,200. So, if you need the value, I think he stands out. Trey Johnson is 3,700. I just, not going to play a ton of minutes, but that could be a way to offset some of the Cleveland costs is going that route. But I'd rather go up to Simpson, I think. But if you really need the savings, Trey Johnson is okay. Mitchell Cunningham, I slightly prefer Cade. I know he's $900 more. No issues with Mitchell other than the blowout. So if Washington can keep that game close, makes it a lot more interesting. CJ McCollum, pretty good price over here at 6,300. Mentioned Keontae George on DraftKings. I think he's playable over here at 74. We get the return of Steph Curry at 8,300. I don't know that I want to pull the trigger there. See what he kind of looks like here, but that one's interesting. And then John Morant is 7,500. Only not going to play 30 minutes probably, but a pretty high fantasy point per minute. As much as we love to bang this guy, he definitely gets it done on the court. So an interesting tournament play that I think will have little to no ownership tonight.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to shooting guard, Beer.
So Mitchell eligible here. George, some of the names we already mentioned. A lot of carryover from DraftKings here. I think the Charlotte guys are great plays tonight. Brandon Miller at 6,500. Con Knipple at 68. I'm still on Edgecombe over here over Quentin Grimes. Save $100. Both going to be pretty highly owned, so I don't think you're getting a discount there. I mentioned Keontae George available at this position. Kobe White, I really like on both sites. Cedric Howard. I think that's about all that I have. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. And Jalen Tyson, he's getting expensive at 64, but a matchup with Washington, I still think is pretty interesting on him.
Noto, your thoughts at shooting guard?
Yeah, we had a little convo about how many Sixers is too many, and man, I just made a lineup with 5 of them that looks pretty good.
Really?
And you kind of just hope that they play well, and you're probably covered. You might be sacrificing some upside there.
And are you running it back? If you have 4 or more, do you feel like you need to run it back, or are you okay not?
I mean, yeah, you probably should if you're playing 5. So
I think so too.
Yeah.
So Siakam's probably the guy there.
Yeah.
But yeah, shooting guard on FanDuel. I like Brandon Miller a lot. Again, the usage rate's been there. We just need a good shooting game from him, or maybe a few more peripheral stats, and he's going to have a nice outing. You play Mitchell here. You got the Philly guys in Edgecombe and Grimes, Keontae George. And then I really like Knipple. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him just with so many strong options in the mid-range tonight, especially on Philly. I think he could be one of my favorite tournament plays.
Okay. How about small forward, Noto?
A lot of the same names, but we do have Paul George over here. I think he's more of a decision on FanDuel at 6'6". I still like him, but I mean at 6'1" on DraftKings, he just feels like a lock for me. So you have George here. Again, Brandon Miller at 6'5", Edgecombe at 5'9", Grimes at 6K. I think the best way to go about it is just to take 2 of those 4 if you're building one lineup. But yeah, you got Jalen Johnson here. If you do want to get a little bit different at small forward. We talked about Champagnie. And then Jaden McDaniels probably going to see a small boost in usage. He's not a huge usage guy to begin with, but he can fill up the stat sheet. So maybe if you want to look at him and large foot stuff, I don't mind it.
Beer, small forward?
I'll try to give different names because we've talked about, George, Edgecombe, Miller, all in play here. Jaden McDaniels in that late game that we don't get on DraftKings. I like him at 6,300, and Jimmy Butler on the other side at 8,400, I think will be pretty low. And I think Steph being back is going to help Jimmy Butler. Some may look at it, it's going to hurt, it's going to take away. I think he's a better player with Steph on the floor. So I like him as much as I love Michael Porter Jr. on DraftKings. FanDuel up at 9,300, a little much there. So I'll probably just get my exposure to him over on DraftKings. Value-wise, if you want some deeper darts, you want to go cheap, Ace Bailey is 5,000. Terrence Shannon, I'm hoping get some extra run without Anthony Edwards. We have him projected, I think, for 24 minutes. He's only 3,600. I'm always intrigued by his upside. This could very well go down in flames, but I think he's interesting. Jalen Johnson, we brought up at 10.8. I don't think people are going to want to pay that price on him. And I think that's it at small forward.
Okay. You get to take us to power forward, Beer.
Power forward. So Jalen Johnson, 10.8. We'll mention him again. Evan Mobley at 9K is a pretty good price here. Blowout is still the concern for me. Miles Bridges, maybe the lone piece from Charlotte. Everyone's excited about Miller, Knipple, Simpson. Bridges could fly under the radar tonight at 8K. Really like Julius Randle, 8,200. No Edwards. That's too cheap for this role. If we knew Edwards was out, Randle's probably 9,500. So, and the ownership is just not reflecting that. So I think he's a phenomenal play on FanDuel tonight. Siakam kind of in that same vein at 8,900. But those guys really stand out, along with Naz Reid at 6,200. So you can take advantage of this Edwards stuff. It just doesn't seem like the field is doing that tonight.
Yeah. Noto, your thoughts there?
Yeah, I love the Randall call. Probably my favorite guy at power forward. But then you can play Naz Reid too. He's got more upside on a per dollar basis, but I think both pretty strong with Edwards out. Then you have Mobley up top, Jalen Johnson up top. One you have to worry about blowout. The other one kind of just doesn't feel good at the price point, but he's been balling 70 plus in 4 or 5, like we mentioned. You have Paul George here. I typically like Okongwu when he starts with Porzingis out, but he's kind of expensive. Are we playing Michael Porter on FanDuel?
I'd say it's too much, it feels like. I think if anything, he'll be low owned, but 1,000 more on him seems kind of crazy to me. So I'm much more excited on DraftKings. So his price should probably be somewhere in the middle. Feels a little too cheap on DraftKings, too expensive on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think so too. But man, he's been so good.
He has
58 plus in 3 straight. If he does that again, you're going to want him less than 10%. So we'll see. Maybe if you're building like 10 lineups, include him in 1 or 2.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to center.
originally had Jock Landale tagged, but now I think you just play Embiid. He's just if he struggles, I'm gonna have a bad slate, and I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
What else? Any other options?
Not really. Nurkic was the guy I was looking at earlier in the day. Don't really want to play him. His minutes have been trending in the wrong direction. You can play Naz Reid at power forward with Embiid, so I'd rather do that. Same for Mobley. Same for Aldama. So just like strictly straight centers. If you're not playing Embiid, you're probably playing Jock.
Yeah. Beer?
It feels like everyone's going to congregate around the same place here. Embiid, Evan Mobley, Naz Reid. So a few ways to get different. I still don't mind going cheap with Landale. Marvin Bagley, I mentioned in our DraftKings portion at 53. Tough matchup for sure with Cleveland, but him and Kalkbrenner, I think, are very interesting on the cheap. And then Vooch at 68 against Charlotte, I really like. So he's probably going to see a little bit of ownership, but I think that could be 1-2% on Vooch tonight. So those are ways I think you can get different. If I'm playing cash games, it's Embiid at 7K. And like Noto said, things don't go well, oh well, but it is a good price, good matchup, and no Maxey.
Yeah. Okay. Boys, who's breaking the slate tonight? Beer, I'm going to let you go first. You get to pick a guy, any guy. Don't care what the ownership is. Don't care what the price is, but he's your guy tonight. And if he goes off, you're feeling good about it.
Michael Porter Jr. So DraftKings definitely have him. FanDuel, I think it's a good point. People are going to look at it. He's too expensive. You get him lower owned over there. I think he smashes tonight.
Okay. Noto?
Yeah, I love Paul George and Embiid, but they're chalk. So I'm going to go with Brandon Miller. Eventually, he's going to make some shots and grab a few rebounds. I'm hoping it can happen against the Bulls.
Yeah. Okay. Can I go McCain? Is that too chalky?
He doesn't look like he's chalk.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be chalk, and I think him being on the bench to start is going to lower that number. So,
give me McCain putting up somewhere between 30 and 40 fantasy points, and getting the job done for us.
Can we? This comment in the chat just got me. Porzingis makes AD look like Cal Ripken. That's fantastic. So at MCOLI7283, wanted to give them a shout out because that made me laugh.
Well done. Well done. Gentlemen, we have 13 minutes or so until we hit the lock. That is plenty of time. So if you have any questions, make sure you're getting them in. Of course, I start with the Discord. RotoGrinders Discords where the cool kids are hanging out. Make sure you're joining. If you're watching on YouTube, hit a thumbs up and type a question in the chat, because otherwise we just sit here awkwardly, silently for 13 minutes. I don't want to do that. So get your questions in. It can certainly be about basketball. It can be about football. Beer, I assume you've already looked ahead.
Oh, yeah.
You got some thoughts?
I got lots of thoughts. And, Noto and I and our boy Kirk will be live tomorrow talking the whole slate on tournament takes. But absolutely, 6-pack's already out there, pints and picks. So
nice.
We can certainly talk some football.
Going to be a weather week as well. You got 7 games where temperatures are at or below freezing. In those Northeast games, it snows before the game, and then it gets really cold. Got to kind of give a fresh update on the weather page for all that. But
in Chicago, I heard could be like -20 or something with the wind chill.
Like the actual temperature might be 8, or so, and then factor in the winds, and it'll be below 0 for sure. Those feels like temperatures. So could be pretty fun. Anyways, let's get to some of these questions. We do have a few coming in the Discord. Noto, DKGPP, Tyson Flag, or MPJ and Coward?
Probably number 2. I think MPJ is the only guy of the 4 that I'm playing, though.
Okay. Beer, DKGPP, Mobley, White, or AD and Knipple?
I'm going to go Mobley, White.
Beer Test says, my most expensive player is less than 8.5. Is this wrong in a DK single entry?
I don't think it's wrong because I think a lot of people are going to plug in those values, plug in a couple expensive guys. So I'm always in favor of the fair and balanced builds. I think there's plenty of plays in that range where you can pull it off. So I think it's actually the right way to go in single entry tonight.
Yeah. I think I've been playing NBA DFS for, 7-8 years. And every single tournament I've ever won has been those mid-range, a lot of 6, 7, 8K guys. Like, and just everybody hits.
Yep.
And that gets it done, man. Nemhard, Noto, Nemhard, or Simpson, DK single entry?
Guessing that's Ryan. So I will go Simpson, but I like both.
Okay. Right back to you, Noto. DK GPP. Trying to fade Chalky Landale. Could one go with Sharp instead?
I wouldn't. I would just get different elsewhere, I think.
Yeah. Okay. D-Rock says, Beer, DK GPP, Washington Huff or MPJ and Champagne?
MPJ Champagne.
This is a great question from Bill in the chat. It's a question to Cheese. And as you may or may not know, Cheese actually hibernates for 6 months of the year. So we'll have to write it down and get it to him, unless someone happens to know this answer. What does Cheese think about banana ball, since baseball is his thing? Beer, what do you think Cheese thinks of banana ball?
That is an incredible question, because I could see it going one or two.
Yeah.
Like my gut instinct, the traditionalist of Cheese hates banana ball, but I could also see him being realistic and saying, we need this game to appeal to the younger generation in any format, anyway. And I think banana ball is helping to do that. I think we'll see some of these changes take place in MLB at some point. Not going to go full banana ball MLB,
Right.
but we've
No
already
TikTok
seen
dancing.
Yeah, but the pitch clocks, and we're starting to see some things that have helped the game. So I don't know. I'm going to store that one away, and the next time I do a show with Cheese, I'm asking.
Yeah, he's a fun-loving person, so I could see him liking it, but also he is very much so a baseball purist. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. Noto, got a question for you. Is Jalen Johnson making your main lineup?
He's not, but I like him.
Okay. Just got news. D'Lo and Gafford are out. Are either of those a surprise?
No, I kind of figured both of those guys would be out. So, yeah, AD, Washington, to have to do that much more. And Nemhard, we don't worry about it. Not that we're worried with Russell anyway, but just one less thing to worry about.
Yep. All right. Scrolling up in the YouTube. Again, a reminder to hit the thumbs up for us. Scrolling down. Hey, Beer, is Phillip Rivers your beast of the week? If not, can you please make him your beast of the week, please? And thank you.
This poor guy. I mean, I can't have a beast of the week that's my age. Like, I never thought I've been doing these videos a long time. So back in the beginning, sure, there were guys that were my age that were in the video. Now there should be no one even close to my age in the video. And here we are. So I am fully intrigued, though. Like, I'm not going to play him in DFS. I think some of his betting numbers might be a little low. They're going to have to throw a lot. So maybe you can go that route with it. And I am going to watch it for sure. But I think this defense is going to kill this guy. I mean, the Seattle defense stands out. Like, I want to play all the Seattle defense. So, no, not the beast of the week, but as a fellow old guy, I wish him well. I sure as hell wouldn't want to be out there. But I can't wait to watch it.
I saw him throw, there was just video of him throwing around, and I think it was a live rep in practice, and I saw him throw like a 25 yard pass, and that thing was just like, it looked like me throwing it. There was just no zip. There was no zip on it at all. And I was like, man, I hope that he's got more than that, because that's not going to cut it in the league. I'm definitely interested to watch, and I hope he gets the start.
This might be a one-game return.
Yeah.
He may take such a beating and be like, I'm done. I'm going back to my I got a week away from my 10 kids, but I'm ready to go back.
This pushes back his Hall of Fame candidacy.
Does. Yes.
Oh, does it really?
Oh, yeah. The clock starts over, and he was just about up.
Wow. I wonder if he had like a really tough class he was going against.
Yeah.
And
I thought about that too.
He's like,
all right, let me get out of here.
I know he has 10 kids in that, and 44 or whatever is not that old, but he's actually a grandfather too.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
He's actually
first grandfather ever to play in the NFL.
Gotta be, right?
And 44 in life, it's not old, but in the NFL,
in the NFL,
like you're 2000. Like you're a dinosaur.
With 10 kids, that's at least 30 extra years.
Right. That tacks on some serious years when you got 10 kids. I don't care how much money you have. Okay, more questions. Budho Jenkins in the chat says, Noto, Andrew Nemhard or VJ Edgecombe, DK?
if you can use that extra, I think it's 700, I would go Edgecombe.
Okay. Jiggy says, Noto, I'm stuck at 6,100 at guard on DK single entry. I have McCain and Simpson already. I can pay up and get rid of AD, or is there anyone useful at 6K to play?
We just talked about him. You can play Edgecombe. Don't mind that. Or, I'm not really playing AD tonight, so you could make some swaps too if you didn't want to do that.
Yeah, okay. Beer, got a couple for you. Knipple or NWA?
Nikhil Alexander Walker.
Oh, so that's NAW. It's not NWA. It's all right. On FanDuel.
I was gonna bust out some NWA.
Yeah.
You want to talk about old guy? We could have gone that route, but I will go Knipple there. But I am a fan of both NAW and the NWA.
I like it. Was NWA this, or was that something?
Oh, you're talking Degeneration X. Now you're talking wrestling.
Thank you.
NWA was the rap group back in the day.
Was there not an NWA?
Ice Cube, Easy.
You're
talking NWO.
That's what I thought it was. Boy,
and that was not that. That was.
Can we strike this from the record?
Yeah, you're all over the place. Maybe that shirt's too tight, Roth.
I got to interview Ice Cube once. And we were both members of the NWA because I'm a member of the National Weather Association. So I asked him if I had street cred for being in the NWA, like him.
I hope he said no.
He did. He said you have no cred whatsoever.
Could there be more polar opposites? Your NWA and their NWA. My goodness.
Yes, this is very anti-establishment. Mine was the establishment.
Yes.
All right. Whew, we recovered from that brutal embarrassment. Hey, how about Miles Bridges, DK single entry, Noto?
I have him in my main lineup right now.
Okay. Another question for you, Noto. Single lineup on FanDuel, Okongwu or Jalen Johnson?
I mean, it's going to depend on who they come with. That's like $3K in salary left over.
Yeah. All right. Triple J Beer or Paul G FanDuel?
So I just said I hate both of those guys. I'm going to go George tonight because I'm more in your camp. I don't really play Jaren Jackson anymore.
Yeah. DK GPP Beer, can you play Lonzo?
It's fine, I'll say. I'm not going to tell you can't play him, but I'm not going there. I think there's better plays. So
yeah. Noto, FanDuel Claxton or Vooch?
Claxton. Or
Nathan says,
let's say Embiid.
Yeah, fair. Nathan says, Noto, you want Embiid or Vooch?
Embiid.
Yep. FanDuel single entry Beer coming to you. Randall Shannon or Reed Aldama?
I will say Reed Aldama, but that other combo is intriguing. Single entry, I wouldn't mess with Shannon. That would be more of a, I got multiple lineups in case he does. So I'd go the safer route.
Yeah. Okay. Got a few questions coming back in the Discord, Beer. I want to be different in a large field DK tournament. I play one lineup. Should I use Jalen Wells over Champagny Chalk? I don't hate that. The Jazz game a few days ago against OKC helped me take down 3 low entry fee big tournaments, so I'm feeling biased towards the guy against the Jazz.
I don't hate it. Anytime you can get off a chalk in a similar range with a low owned guy that's shown upside, it's certainly a way to go. So fine with it.
Yep. Noto, over to you from Falcons fan, DK GPP, Laurie or Keontae?
Keontae.
Yeah. Beer, dumpster diving with Hardy. Is that viable with D'Lo out?
Probably diving a little bit too deep, I would say. We have so much good value at that position as well. I just don't know that he's going to get a ton of minutes.
Okay. Beer, Walter Clayton as a flyer in a large field GPP.
He always intrigues me. I wish he would get more minutes, more run. So I'm fine with it, but it is risky.
Okay. Noto coming to you for a couple. FanDuel GPP, McDaniels or Nas?
Let's go Nas. More upside.
Scrolling up. 2v2 DK small tournament Beer. Simpson and Keontae or Grimes and Edgecombe?
First set. I don't love Grimes tonight.
Yeah. Beer, FanDuel GPP, Kobe White and Nas or Simpson and Bridges?
Kobe White Nas,
Okay.
who's also a rapper, Roth.
Who?
Are you familiar with Nas's game?
Nasty Nas, one mic. Come on now.
I knew you. I just had to put you in that. I
Yeah.
wanted you to redeem yourself.
Thank
so
you.
I
I'm
tossed
about
you an
that.
alley-oop and you hammered it home.
I know every word to the song "Get Down." That is one of my favorite rap songs of all time.
He might be the most underrated rapper ever, man.
Yeah.
Nas is legit.
Roth, what was we went to karaoke one night in Nashville. What rap song was that you?
I think that one was Ludacris. What's your fantasy? And and I didn't even pick it. Someone picked it, and they couldn't do the song justice, and they were mumbling and stumbling. So I kicked him off the stage. I took the mic, and I had to take over for him.
We got to bring that. We got to bring that back. COVID's long gone. It's time to bring back the RotoGrinders party.
Well, I'd say of the top 5 most embarrassing moments in my life, like 3 of them happened at RotoGrinders parties.
Oh yeah, for sure. I rode a mechanical bull for about 1.2 seconds and won the bet.
Yeah,
and won the bet.
Good job. Hit the over. The karaoke, the mechanical bull. It's all right. Hey, we hit the lock. Good stuff. That is what we came to do. Make sure we did okay.
New album from Nas released today.
Look at that. Look at that.
What
I did not know that. Good to know.
Okay, gentlemen, I was just checking through the questions. We did pretty good here. I think it is time to clear on out. So for Noto, for Beer, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, I appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crushed.